Thanks again. Yo, thanks again for listening, downloading, and subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle, but you're listening, so you know that by now. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to this podcast. You can find it just about anywhere. We're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, Overcast FM, Google Play, and YouTube. You can catch me on Facebook, facebook.com/ spell it out, TWELVEKYLE. And you can catch me on Instagram at 12 Kyle Podcast. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at 12 Kyle, the number 12 KYLE. Or you can follow the podcast at 12 Kyle Podcast. So there's no reason not to subscribe to this podcast. All right, what I want to talk about today, I was looking at something online the other day and came across this thing called love letters from dope people. So I was like, that's pretty cool. I should check that out. So I checked it out, and it's 5 simple questions. We're going to talk about love letters. So I'm going to drop the theme music, get your pencils ready, turn your speakers up. Let's get this podcast cracking. Let's go. Welcome back to the podcast. It's your boy, 12 Kyle. I'm the host. Once again, we're talking about love letters. As I mentioned at the top, it's 5 simple questions. All right, so here's the first question. Let's see what we got here. Tell us about the first time you fell in love. Oh, man. That's a good question. First time, I had to be like, I want to say like 6. I was like 6 years old, man, and the girl, I'll never forget, her name was Janice, and she was really, 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 really cute. And so, right, so I remember, like, because she was my girlfriend, and I was 6 years old, and I never forget, like, I lived in South Carolina, but I would always go to New Jersey for the summertime. And so when I went to New Jersey, one of my mom's friends, Janice lived next door to her. So I was like, okay, this little girl is cute. She's cool. And I remember one day we were in the street, we were playing football, and she told her friend that she thought I was cute. And I was like, okay, she thinks I'm cute. And I thought she was cute. So I was like, yo, she is cute. And I kept telling my cousin, like, yo, she's cute. And so anyway, make a long story short, so over that particular summer, I don't know what year it was, but I was like 6, maybe 7 years old. She became my girlfriend. And I was just really, really crazy about it. She had some real big, pretty eyes, and she had a really nice smile. And so, that was like my thing. That was like the first girl that I just like really was just Google over. And I remember, I never forget, like she gave me, like as the years passed, she gave me a picture. Maybe like 2 years after that, she gave me a picture of herself. And I kept that picture for the longest time. And I would I would talk to the picture like as if she was, like around or whatever. But yeah, man, Janice, she was first girlfriend, first kiss. And I remember like it was time for me to go back to South Carolina, because I've been in New Jersey maybe for about 3 or 4 weeks that particular summer. And so it was time for us to go. And I was like, yo, my cousin was like, yo, why don't you go back behind the house and give her a kiss, and I'll play lookout. So I was like, okay, cool. So we went back. And I was like, well, are you going to give me a kiss? And she was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, let's just do what we see on TV. And so we, leaned in and kissed her or whatever like that. So, yeah, so she was, so that was cool, man. Yeah, first time I fell in love was a girl named Janice. And I don't know what happened to Janice. I know, like, when we got to high school, she got pregnant. But here's the funny part about it. Like, Janice and I never broke up. So technically we're still together, even though I'm married, and I don't know her last name, and I have no clue as to where she lives. If she listens to this podcast, she's probably going to say, that's my boyfriend. So, you can't call me a 2-timer, but yeah, Janice and I, we're still together. All right, so that's one question. All right, question 2. Let's see here. How has your perception of love changed over the years? Oh, that's a good question. I think over the years it's changed because I think you really get an appreciation for what love is as you get older. I remember when I was in high school and middle school, like my dad would always tell me, he's like, you never tell a girl that you love her unless you really, really mean it. He was like, a lot of people have lived and died over that word, and you don't want to be one of those people. So it was just, I always took those words to heart, and he just always said, never say it unless you really, really mean it. And so, yeah, I think my perception has changed because I think over a period of time, when you're younger, it was just, the thing to say to a girl, or, you just, and for some people, they just wouldn't say it. But for me, I think it's just, I gained a deeper appreciation for the word and what it actually meant to, what it all entails. I think when you're younger, you just think, oh man, you're just going to be with somebody and you're just going to love them and that's going to be it. But it's a lot more into that. And I know that one thing that I've realized over a period of time is that, love is when you're loving someone, whether or not it's in a relationship or friendship, or even the love that you have for your family and friends, it's something that you have to constantly work on. It's an ongoing cycle. Particularly like when you talk about like someone like me who's married, that love, you have to work on that continuously, and it's working when you're not even awake. So I think I've had a deeper appreciation for love and what it takes to reach the point of love, because I think there's certain stages that you have to go to. You don't just jump into a relationship and then tell somebody you love them. It's something that you gradually build towards. And then once you get to that point, man, you really have to kind of maintain. It's almost like an airplane. You're climbing heights, and then when you level off, you got to do what you have to do to maintain to stay at a level pace. So that's a good question. I like that one. That one's pretty good. All right, let's see what we got here. Next question: has love influenced your creative side? Yeah, it has. I think when I was younger, I used to write a lot of poetry. And I still write poetry from time to time, I think. But for me, like a lot of times when I write, it turns into blogs because I can't keep one thought. But I think, yeah, it's influenced my creative side. I think when you love someone, and more importantly, when you have someone that loves you, I think that it brings those things out of you. I think we all are creative to some degree. And, some people sing. When I was younger, I used to sing and, outside of the shower. I was in, a group or what have you. I don't sing past the shower right now, but yeah, I think it's definitely influenced me. I think, loving someone or loving people or people loving you should bring out the creative side in you. Because I think we're all creative creatures. So yeah, I would definitely say that it's influenced my creative side. So that's a good question. All right, let's see here. Question 4. Let's see. Do you have a favorite love song? That's a good question. Yeah, man, I got quite a few, man. Off the top of my head, like Always and Forever, One in a Million, Larry Graham, If This World Were Mine by Luther Vandross, Stay from Jodeci, Love Ballad from LTD, what's another one? Adore, Prince, Kiss of Life, Sade, of course, Can You Stand the Rain, New Edition, Let's Chill by Guy. Yeah, I could go on and on about love songs. Wow, that's yeah, it is. I think, man, if you've experienced love, you should have, even the most hardened of thugs has a favorite love song. If you ever meet somebody that says that they don't have a favorite love song, run away from them. They're a cold-blooded person. Out there, you gotta have some favorite love songs. You gotta have some songs that are just like your jam that'll make you think about love, whether or not it makes you think about a certain person or what have you. I think that's necessary, man. If you, I don't know anybody that doesn't have a favorite love song. That's crazy to me. So yeah, that's a good question. All right, question. What is this? 5. Do you have any regrets from past relationships? Oh, good question. Let's see here. Okay, throw that one away. Any regrets from past relationships? Not really. I think what I've been able to do is I think you take the mistakes that you've made in previous relationships and you kind of take them and you learn lessons from them to move forward. I think that's key, because you don't want it. Because I think if you, the word regret means that you're kind of sad that it happened. I think everything happens for a reason. So, no, I don't have any, because I don't really live with regrets. Now, are there things that I would have done in love and in relationships or even in marriage? Yeah, there's things that I would do differently. But, regrets, nah, I don't have any past regrets about relationships, because I think everything's a building block. I think, I think that's where we are in our lives. And I think as long as we are looking to do better, then, there's always going to be other things from previous relationship. But I think those things should help your current relationship or your next relationship be even better. That's just my thoughts. That's a good one. All right. So I got one more. Actually, so there's 6 questions. The last one, let's see here. Have you ever written a love letter? Yes, I have. I've written quite a few. I wrote a lot back in the day. Now I understand for some of you, this question is, this is going to be a no, because some of you listening don't write, because you don't have to, because, everything's electronic. But I grew up in an era where, I was like the last generation that came through their adolescence and, their early 20s without the internet. So yeah, we wrote a lot of letters. And so if you're listening to this podcast and you're fortunate enough to get a love letter from me, cherish it, because I'm dope. But seriously, no, I have. And I think, I don't think I've said any. Well, I'm 100% sure that I've never said anything in a love letter that I did not mean. I think that's the cool part about it. I would love to go back and read some. Now, I know that I have some here, there's some that I've sent, I have it here in my house that I've sent my wife over, the years when we were younger. But, I think it would be interesting, because I know, like, for me, I could read a love letter that I wrote and then go back in time and figure out what was going on in that particular time or whatever like that. And in previous relationships, I wrote love letters too. So, I'm pretty sure those were interesting too. Nonetheless, I think, if you wrote love letters, here's the thing that always intrigues me. Like, when we're dead and gone, what's going to happen with your love letters? Like, will you, because when you're dead and gone, nobody's going to be able to read your Facebook posts from, 7 years ago, because people won't have access to it. So, outside of stuff that you did electronically, like, will your great grandkids be able to get your hands? What if your great grandkids could get their hands on a love letter that you wrote to your man or your woman? Some of you probably would be very embarrassed by what you would be saying, how you were gonna put it on them, or something like that. But yeah, I'm 99.9%. In fact, I'm 100% sure that I didn't say anything crazy. Well, I probably did, but it was the 90s. We wilded out in the 90s. But nonetheless, yeah, I've written love letters, and I would like to think that any love letter that I wrote was dope, because I'm dope. So appreciate that one. All right, so I lied. It was six questions. My bad. I thought it was 5, but it was 6. So yeah, that's it, man. Love letters. So I'll put it in the comments section. If you have any comments, anything you want to share, make sure you drop it in the comments section. As always, thank you for listening to another edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000.